Well, it won't be long before we can kick January in the pants. Does it seem possible? You know, every day I look at the calendar and I tell my wife, one day closer to spring. It is the 30th of January, 2013. We're standing outside in a very brisk breeze right here on this wonderful location where McBride Chevrolet and Subaru has been located for some time now. We're going to talk about a lot of things here today. And I want to just say hello to you guys. I haven't seen you together, and I haven't had Ed DeShays in here before. So how are you, Brian?
Gordy, very good, very well, thanks. It's great to have you here.
Billy, how
Gordy,
you doing?
I'm doing well. Had a little bout with the flu, but I kicked it.
You and about 400 million other people were just, I didn't know if I'd have to build a scaffold around Calvin to keep him on his feet throughout our program today. Ed DeShays, he bowled me over when we shook hands a while ago. I'm shaking my head and I said, wait a minute, this guy's got a double. Let me just look a little bit, maybe a little more hair, I'm not sure. So what's your function here now, Ed?
The general manager.
Ooh. It's nice, but you got to get a little thing on your chest.
Absolutely.
There. Like Superman with the red S, you know?
Yes. Yeah, Ed started with us this month in January. Has an extensive background from Rhode Island to West Palm Beach to BMW dealerships and Rolls-Royce stores to Honda and Lincoln Mercury. Ed is a phenomenal individual. We're really fortunate to have him grace our presence.
We kind of hope that it's a long chapter of his life here in Plattsburgh, right here.
Yes,
huh?
yes. I have a history in Plattsburgh.
Do you really?
Yes, I was in the Air Force, and I used to come TDY here once every few months to see my sister base.
Isn't that amazing? Well, we do have a long history with Plattsburgh Air Force
absolutely, Gordy.
With your wonderful dad and all that wonderful committee we were on for such a long time.
Yep.
There's so much background.
Well, I appreciate you and Calvin coming in to take a tour of our brand new 1-month-old Chevrolet dealership. This was a complete, in the car world, we call it a frame-off restoration. We took the old girl right down to the cement slab and started over, and everything is brand new for the second generation of the McBride family to be part of the community.
We're going to trace a little history from the very beginning to the present, but we're going to do it inside with the furnace work.
That sounds like a good
idea. Gentlemen, what do you say? Follow me.
Follow me.
Well, there's an old advertising phrase, we've come a long ways, baby.
That's right, Gordy.
And here we are in this wonderful new place. I told Calvin and Brian it even smells good when you walk inside.
Yeah. Brand new facility. The existing facility was built in 1962, so last year it was 50 years old.
Come on, 1962?
Yeah.
I had only been here 1 year.
Yeah, it was tired. We had spent a lot of time maintaining the facility, but it was well past its age and given everything it had. So we take the position that it's in a down market. It's a really good time to regroup, build, and train internally, and look at all of your look at everything that we do. And Billy and I decided it made a lot of sense to spend a little money right now and build a brand new facility. We were really. We had given it a lot of thought, but it was really the right thing to do, and we're really excited about it. Quick little story. Our family's originally from the Troy, New York area, and Mom and Dad bought this dealership from the Santa family, Dan Santa, and in 1970. And their intent was really to move the family up here. I was 5 years old. Billy was 9, and we would be up here for a couple of years, get the dealership operating properly, and then Mom and Dad wanted to move back down to the Capital District and get a dealership down there. But and I think everybody knows that the quality of life up here, that it's our secret, about how nice life is here, how great it is.
We've talked
And
about it so many times.
Got the best of all worlds.
Really?
So our parents, said, hey, we got great friends, great community, great place to live, great business. The kids are all settled, and the air base and their involvement with a lot of community functions just said, hey, this is the place to set roots, and we did. And Billy and I we both feel the same, that this is the place to stay. It's a place to be, and that and in this location, this is our commitment to ourselves and our community, and we want to say thank you for all of our customers that have done business with us in the past. We very appreciative of every person, and we wanted to reinvest in our community with a modern, state-of-the-art facility, and be able to take care of you in the way that you expect to be taken care of.
I feel a very close kinship to the McBride family because I met your wonderful dad, Bill McBride Sr., very shortly after he arrived in this community.
Yeah.
And we got along so well, and he embraced the air base. We were both members in good standing, I hope, of the Air Base Liaison Committee. And we worked for so many years to enhance the image of Plattsburgh Air Force Base in this community. So the marriage was a good one. And that's a big part of the beginnings of your family here in Plattsburgh. And I will never forget your father sitting in a little studio at the radio station where I worked every Christmas time as he was sponsoring one of our great programs that I wrote the script for over and over and over again, called Christmas in Our Town.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you do?
Oh yeah, I can
Yes, I
remember.
do too.
I remember in the '80s him sending all of us kids up to sit down with you guys at Christmas time.
It's just so wonderful to reminisce, and here we are,
Yep.
reminiscing again. But it didn't take long for the McBride family to put its roots down in the North Country and not just become a part of it, but an integral part of it. And there is payback for being good to people and making friends, and this whole thing is just a revelation to me at how
thanks.
far you've come. Because I can still sing the old Santa Chevrolet jingle, that Chet Bosworth recorded, God knows when that was.
I think that dates us. It was actually funny. We in the demolition, we ended up finding, it's around here somewhere, a yardstick that had Santa Chevrolet printed on, brand new. It was sitting up on a rafter. Somebody must have put it up there back in the 60s.
Talk about a piece of memorabilia. Isn't that amazing? I should have known that you would find some old stuff in the walls.
Yeah, and unfortunately it wasn't a couple bricks of gold or a bag of money, but
yeah, things worth a lot of money.
yardstick, oh well, we'll work with it.
Yeah, but it is. You said you guys, you brothers who operate this dealership, stood back and looked at it all and said, "We got to make a move here."
Yes.
And
It was time.
that doesn't just come to you in a dream,
No, it was something planned. About 2.5 years ago, we made the decision to split Chevrolet and Subaru into two separate facilities, and we built a brand new facility for Subaru. And I think that's always been bugging us a little, that the Subaru facility was brand new, shiny, and glass and chrome and beautiful woodwork, and the Chevrolet facility was a little bit tired and fraying on the edges. So
It's amazing.
we looked at the whole picture and said, hey, it's time to bring the Chevy facility up to our standard, and we can do better for our customers. So we went down that path, and we had a great experience. We like the Subaru facility. We went out to our general contractor and we said, hey, the people that have supported us need our support. We made sure that all of the subcontractors were local subcontractors. We only had to go out of the area, and that was to Glens Falls for one subcontractor for a small part of the facilities. And so we, from the materials to the plumbing to the electrical, everything. Ace Electric, Bob Stinson Plumbing. We'll go down the list.
Adams
the
Glass.
Adams Glass. Everybody.
So many great organizations, contractors, and so on.
Yeah.
Conroy and Conroy.
And just in the North Country, it's truly amazing when you see how many
yeah.
projects they put their name on.
Oh, yeah.
These people
Conroy,
all over the country.
Yep, our general contractor was Conroy and Conroy,
Sure.
and I think this is the 8th or 10th new car dealership that they've built in northern New York and Vermont, and they came right in, and they were
Good people, good friends,
Yeah.
good North Country stock.
Gordy.
Yes.
I mean,
July 7th, we were selling cars in the morning. July 7th in the afternoon, we had moved over and cleared out. July 8th, Conroy and the demolition crew came in and went to
Tore the
work.
place down.
And in 5 months, on December 8th, the structure, the lights, the heat was complete. It was pretty amazing.
it's hard to believe.
Yeah. So, and if whoever's watching, we are fully open for business, and please come in and take a tour, take a visit of our
So that it'll
facility
be 1 year in July?
that we started.
Yeah.
So it's in about 7 months.
Because we're
they were-
doing this in the end of January, and it's hard to believe because projects just don't happen that way. I'm sure there were a few glitches
I
along
want
the way.
to say thank you to Brian, because Brian took the bull by the horns, and he was he had all the decision-making and put together the plans and coordinated everything so that the building did come out the way it did.
And at no point along the way did you say, what have I gotten us into now?
No, that never happened. There was a couple stressful days
You
and
can't
nights,
help
but that's part of the
There-
of the process.
There is a little pressure in this business, in
Yes.
case people didn't know.
Oh, yeah, there's
People who watch television, read newspapers,
Yeah.
look at the Wall Street Journal, they know what the automobile business has been worldwide over the last, say, 5 or 6 years.
Absolutely.
And so the fact that you're standing here with new buildings, new facilities, a new general manager says a lot for you two guys.
Thanks very much. Well, we're trying hard, and really in the last 2 years we've taken a step back and looked at ourselves internally and said, are we doing things the best way? Do we have the right processes in place? Are we the world-class organization that we want to be? And we've been making a lot of changes in what we are, who we are, and how we do things. We've become a process-driven organization and not a market-driven organization. We strive towards building ourselves, building the things that we do inside and internally, the way that we receive phone calls, the way that we interact with customers, the way that we follow up, and how we order parts, and how we source vehicles, and how everything that we do, we've analyzed and built very rigid best practice processes around. It's our belief that we need to build a foundation of excellence here in order, and from that, business will come. And it's really starting to take root very strongly. We've seen some dramatic improvements in our sales volume, our employee growth. We've brought in. We're at the 50 employee mark where we were.
Really? Come on.
Yeah, where we were when 2 years ago we were at 32 employees. It's yeah. So,
That's amazing.
but market-driven dealerships sit and wait. They'll run some advertisements in the paper. They'll try and draw people in, and and grow from sales, and we're going to grow from process and excellence and interacting with the customers, giving them a world-class experience, world-class facilities, and then having those customers go out to their friends and family and say, hey, there's something very special going on here in the North Country, and this is where you need to go.
You know, I admire so much those words that you've just spoken, because I know so many people who have been in business here in the North Country, and some of them are transplants from other locations, and it doesn't take them long when they get here to know that they've got to develop a package that fits in with this. You mentioned the quality of life, but there's the whole tenor of living in the North Country that I've always sworn was just a little bit better than many other places.
My dad brought Brian and I up on a few principles that still are valuable
They
today.
still work, don't they?
One, you treat people the way you want to be treated. Two, you tell the truth and lay your cards on the table. The truth only hurts a little. And the other one is work hard and be good at what you do, and put an effort into.
It certainly makes it
treated.
easier to go to sleep at night
Oh, absolutely.
when you
Now,
realize that you have that plan.
you said your dad?
Our dad.
Do we have different dads?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
That might be the topic for a whole nother television show. Maybe we can get a series going on
I
here.
don't think we had a milkman back
No,
then.
well, those people who've known me for a long time know I try to tell the truth. And when I say Bill McBride Sr. is a champion and a template for the way the rest of us should not only do business but live is something, and that's a tribute. So you two and this whole operation is part of his legacy. You know that.
Yeah. Well, Dad, we have a lot of respect for Dad.
Yeah.
And he did give, he did give, and he still gives a lot to the community.
To the community, not just the people who buy cars, but to the community
Yeah.
and the greater community in the North Country. And he always had his finger on the pulse of what's going on. You have to, or you wouldn't be standing here with these new
right.
businesses. You've got to be knowing what's going out there
Yes. Yeah.
in so many different ways. It's wonderful to be here today. We're going to
great.
take a little cook's tour,
right.
if you don't mind.
Oh, that would be great. Come on, let's go.
All right. Are we at Paul Calkins Auction Service here? What's going on,
No,
Brian?
no.
This is amazing.
Gordy, I told you we're getting very serious about being in the car business. We set up a used car buying center. It's internet based in the new facility. My used car manager and my buyer is Rodney Douglas from Keysville. Right now Rodney is attending an online auction in real time down in Bordentown, New Jersey. We're able to pull in an enormous amount of data about each vehicle. We vet the vehicle very carefully before we decide to buy, but we can actually bid in real time against the people that are standing there in the auction lane. Now, right now we're only attending one auction on one lane, but we have the capability of attending 10 different auctions simultaneously from 10 different locations around the country, anywhere Southern California, Phoenix, Orlando, Denver, Detroit, Chicago, Virginia, and we are sourcing the best vehicles that we can possibly find for our pre-owned department at the best price that we can possibly get. We can leverage things, for example, like Subarus are great vehicles in the North Country, but all-wheel drive vehicles in Orlando, Florida, are not as popular up there. So we're able to get much better buys on our vehicles down in the Florida market for Subaru, and then we have them trucked here to the North Country, and we can pass along that savings to our customers. We're very careful about making sure that our vehicles are extraordinarily competitively priced against all the other vehicles in the market, and we're leveraging the use of technology, software, internet, buying experience, the whole gamut to source our vehicles that we we feel are best suited for our buyers in the North Country.
This is another major decision you guys have made to sell more used cars at better prices than anybody in the land.
We are very determined to be the highest volume, largest selection used car dealer in the North Country, and we are working very hard. The groundwork has all been set. It's just a matter of executing on the game plan now, and we're moving on it. And this is just one small part of our operation and our strategic plan to grow to a very large organization.
Just to give you an idea today, Rodney's already talked to the trucking company, and the cars would possibly be picked up tomorrow morning, and we could possibly see them on Friday.
They'll be here on Friday.
So,
Yeah, the vehicles.
There's a man with a plan.
Already
They'll be here on
talked to
Friday.
the trucking company, and he's all set to go. He's actually on his way to New Jersey as we speak.
I love it. Isn't it amazing?
It is the fact we can leverage technology to drive down costs, to provide better selection, to speed up the process. These tools allow us, if somebody's interested in a particular vehicle and we don't have it, we can source it usually within 2 or 3 days and have it trucked in as little time as 4 or 5 days from the decision point. And it can be as far away as Texas. And we're very careful, though we have all of the tools in place to properly examine the vehicle.
check histories and Carfaxes and things like that.
Way different from the old days where a dealer had to get on the telephone and say, "Hey, Charlie, what do you got?"
The processes are a lot the same. They just move quicker and they're easier. And it's our new mantra is be quick or be dead. And
You know, I like that. We said that at the very beginning, but it's so important that you got to get out and moving before
Yes.
anybody else gets up in the morning around here.
So by probably within an hour, Rodney will have spent about $200,000, and we'll have.
That takes my breath away. I don't know about you, Billy.
That's
So-
20 pounds.
Well, that's the product.
And Rodney doesn't make any mistakes, does he, Rodney?
I do not.
Well, the fact that you have allowed us to watch this in process, and just before camera, Calvin hit the on button, Rodney bought a car as we were walking in the door.
Yeah.
Well, we specialize in transparency. We want everything right there in front of the customer. We want to show them exactly what we did, exactly how we got to the price that we got to. That way everybody knows everything.
And I guarantee you that 95 or 98% of the people who are watching this program right now are unfamiliar with this process. So I think that's pretty neat that you allowed us
Sure.
to step in here.
We built a glass wall to the office. We want our customers to know that we are cutting edge, that we are very savvy in what we're doing, and we're able to leverage all of these things to get a great selection and the right vehicles at the bottom of the market prices.
I think many of our viewers are probably unaware that there are a lot of auctions in real time all over the country. I have some friends who are auctioneers, and the fact that they get involved in these internet auctions is
There's
truly
about
amazing.
Oh, absolutely. There's about 170 auto auctions around the country, large ones, and we can attend almost every one of them in real time now. But yeah, some of the auction facilities are absolutely huge. The one that we're attending now, the Mannheim Bordentown auction, is they have 50 lanes that they run simultaneously, and on a given day they'll auction 3,000 or 4,000 vehicles.
Just blows the mind.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an even bigger part of the operation.
And there's live attendees at these auctions as well. You see those guys, those are also bidders in the lane looking at all those cars. Like this auction right here, like he said, is in Mannheim, New Jersey. On this screen right here, I'm actually in East Windsor, Connecticut.
I said, that's amazing. Those live guys are not happy with you because you know your stuff. That's beautiful. I love to watch people who are bright at work. You know that?
Yeah.
This is just truly great. Well, thank you so much for
you're
inviting us
welcome.
here. We can't wait to see where this used car business is going to go with you, because you, once again, you guys have a plan.
That's my question here. Obviously, he's not out there on his own. Do you, as a group, decide what you're going to buy and have a price already decided?
Well, what we do, we use some sophisticated software that does market analysis. We can see the entire marketplace and what's on dealers' lots all around, with up to 1,000-mile radius of the dealership, and we utilize reports out of that system that can tell us what the we use metrics such as market day supply, how many vehicles are available for sale, what their travel rate is, how quickly they're selling within our marketplace, what the best equipment packages on those vehicles are, and the systems that we use can derive some pretty detailed statistical data and give us a very good idea of what we need to be stocking. What is the vehicles that are the most sought after through some interactions with car sites like AutoTrader and Cars.com, and then what, based on what's on dealers' lots and what the age of the vehicles are, we can determine, what the vehicles that have the lowest day supply that sell the quickest, and we look for primarily for those, and the software that we use is integrated, so it assists Rodney to be able to determine what what vehicles coming through the lanes, what's coming up the next couple days that matches what we need for stocking, and the software is just software, but we have a pretty deep knowledge base here and talent pool, and we utilize that information to figure out what the best mix of vehicles should be for the dealership now, and as we grow, that mix will change, and we'll modify that mix as every day we look at it, and every day we look at the market and the vehicles and decide what it is that what we should have and how long we should keep it, and we liken our used car inventory. It's kind of like new cars on a new car dealer lot are like a can of peas on a shelf in a grocery store. They really don't start to go down in value until the can is opened or the customer drives the new car home. But used cars on a used car dealer lot is more like produce in the vegetable area of a supermarket. It's got a very short shelf life. It's constantly going down in value, and you have to own it right to begin with, and you have to get rid of it quickly. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a very soft and mushy potato, and that nobody wants to buy, because your costs in the vehicle are fixed, but the vehicle's going down in value every day. So we try and get in and out of our inventory quickly. We don't look to, a lot of dealers look to make large profits off their used cars. We're here just, it's all about inventory turn and volume, and move them in, move them out, and everything stays nice and fresh and crispy.
What are we talking about? Cars that are 2 or 3 years old, 10 years old?
Well, we have different stratifications of cars. There's the factory cars that have less than 25,000 miles. Those are we like to turn those the fastest. But we also have cars that we take in on trade. We have 100, 120, 140,000 mile vehicles they're great vehicles, and we invest a lot of money to get them up to our standard. We have a very detailed process before the vehicle reaches our used car lot. But we do have those $6,000 and $8,000 vehicles, and we have the $30,000 and $35,000 pre-owned vehicles too, and everything in between.
I can tell just by watching this. This is, to me, so fascinating.
Oh, it's very interesting once you really start getting into it. And Rodney is an avid PlayStation gamer, so
I can
this
tell.
is just a natural
Man,
for him.
He's twitching when he's not touching the
I
buttons.
just think it's important to highlight that some people, when they hear that you're going to an auction to purchase a vehicle, they get a little nervous. But with sophisticated technology nowadays, I know more about that car in the 30 seconds and sitting in the lane than I would if I was actually in person. I can tell when it was bought, where it was bought from, how many owners it's had, whether it's been in an accident, how extensive the damage was, whether the frame has been damaged, whether there's unibodies. I can learn absolutely everything in 30 seconds with the technology that we use to be able to know more about that car than anybody else would, whether they're in the lane or on the lot.
And it comes with practice. It's like being at a horse auction. You got to know what you're doing before you step in.
I had great teachers.
Well, it's amazing to watch. I love to watch people work, and I love, like I said before, he's twitching even when he's not pressing the buttons.
Rodney's wife warned us, do not give him any energy drinks, no Red Bull, no nothing. Yeah.
No. I would give him a cup of coffee till noon if I had a choice. Oh, you are. But it's great. It's critical to have people like him on the staff.
Absolutely.
And I can't believe that you're going to be up to 50 people working in this
Well,
organization.
we are at 50.
You're at 50 now?
We're at 50 now.
Is Ed 51 or is he?
Ed is 50.
Oh, he is?
That's what he told us
Just
anyway.
keep telling yourself that.
How old am I? 56.
Yeah. I love it. Well, this is absolutely terrific. Now, so you know the precise condition of these vehicles when they get here Friday morning.
If you look, yep, I know exactly. If you look, that big picture right there is a conditions report. They give them a score rated 1 out of 5. On that particular vehicle that's running through the sale right now is a 4.7. If I scroll down on this, I can see exactly like the hood has been chipped. It's a 7 for severity out of a 10 scale.
Isn't that amazing?
And I can see, pictures of the actual damage on the vehicle. I know right down to the tread depth of the tires. The tread depth of the tires is 9/32 on this particular vehicle. It has 1 valet key, 2 combo keys. The title state was New Jersey. It came in, the date it was originally purchased was 10/4 of 2012. The odometer checks out, all the equipment's there. That would be a good car to purchase right there. And as far as the accidents, with the click of a button, with the click of a mouse, I go here, I can see the auto check report. I can see that it's never been in any accidents. Oh, it just switched vehicles on us. See, when the car actually comes into the lane, it switches all the information to that vehicle. So on this
You gotta be
particular,
quick.
yes, you do have to be quick. Be quick or be dead. That's what Brian said.
Yeah, quicker be dead. I love it. This has been an education for me. I think I ought to get a degree when I walk out of this room.
Diploma waiting.
That's absolutely terrific. What's the end goal for this business, for the used car business for you?
Well, the end goal, we're gonna grow it and see how large we can go. I feel, Billy feels that there's a huge market, untapped market in the used car market around here, and we also feel that there is a huge, enormously huge untapped market just across the border in Canada and Montreal.
Of course.
And nobody is really going after that marketplace. And with the dollar, the currency exchange, it's a no-brainer. And although the Canadians have a difficult time buying most new vehicles and exporting them to Canada, other than Subaru, I'd throw that in.
I knew we'd get to that. Billy.
Pre-owned vehicles are no-brainer as long as they're on the export list. They can fly, and we're going to gear up, and we'll see where this thing takes us. But we're like I said, we've done our homework. We've built our foundation. We have the facilities and the talent pool, and now it's just time to execute on all of the hard work we've put in to get us to this point.
You need a little good luck in life, but you also need an education. You need to be able to see clearly in that crystal ball.
Well, sometimes the crystal ball ain't so clear,
Yeah.
but we do our best.
You have to also make decisions to put your neck out on the line and hope the axe doesn't come down by tomorrow morning. It looks like you've planned this out so very well.
Thanks you very
That's
much.
great. All right, let's move along. What do you say?
Come on, Dave. Come on, Jim. You're
All
fine.
right, it's all right. We're not at all shy. So where are we now, Brian?
Gordy, we are in the new service drive-through. Although we don't serve Cokes or Pepsis and Michigans, we have a drive-in service write-up area for our customers. This way, when the customer pulls up to the door automatically opens. You drive your vehicle right inside the facility and get out inside nice, warm, dry room instead of outside in snow, ice, slush.
Great concept.
It is.
Hey, Don, how are you?
Very good, Gordy.
Good to see you.
too.
This
Yeah.
it's amazing, and it's become, well, maybe not the new norm, but a lot of dealerships are doing it, and I like this idea.
Oh, yeah, it's a big plus. It, for safety, for convenience, and for the customers, it's a big
I
benefit.
remember what it used to look like in this area, Don.
I do too, Gordy. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. That was amazing. It's such a transformation that it's hard to me to drink it all in
Well,
here.
Brian and his brother and his family, they've put a lot of money in this building to renovate it and bring it up to something to really be proud of for the community, and it's worked out very nice. Came out terrific. Conroy was the contractors, of course, and a whole bunch of others, Ace Electric and Bob's Instant Plumbing, and just, Lee Appliance, Wilson Appliance. So everybody contributed. He would not go out of town. The only person who went out of town was the guy that put the tile down. That was the
Isn't
other
it
guy.
amazing? And that's
Yeah.
wonderful. What a great
Gordon, I
idea.
just want, Don Lee was our clerk of the works, and that's the person
I
who.
like that name. He's been called a lot of things over the years.
Some worse than that, Gordy.
Work of the works. That's great.
So Don worked on behalf of the dealership, not for the contractors, but on behalf of the dealership, to oversee the construction and be the liaison or the coordinator for all the different subcontractors and be my eyes and ears.
Conroy's let me get my hands dirty occasionally.
So it was great having him here, and we're just in the last stages of all the detail work now, but Don has been the coordinator for everything for the dealership, and without him, I do have some.
That's why I don't ever bend down
I'd been
like that.
completely bald if Don hadn't been here.
And he even knew Angie LaMariana.
Yes, I did very well. Very well.
We've talked with Don so many times. He and I go back a few hundred years.
100 years, yes.
Talking about our beloved Saranac River and how good the fishing is
It
and
is.
so on.
That's
But,
why I live on it. That's why you live on it.
but you weren't born in this area, Don.
Whitehall.
So you're not that.
No, just
down
south end of the
road.
lake, and I came here as a tanker pilot. Came here, in fact, I got my flight physical. I was in college at Castleton State College, Vermont. Came up here to get my flight physical, and they said, yes, you're qualified. And I went off to officer training school, pilot training, and ended up here and flew tankers and 111s and went to Omaha and a couple other places, but ended up coming back and retiring out of here because the community is just so nice to me, and I like it here.
You know, is that a story? That's a chapter that we've heard so many times before. We've talked about the inherent quality of life in the North Country, Billy and I and his dad and I, over the years, many times. But it's people like you who came here from Whitehall and from Cucamonga and Rhode Island and Chattanooga who enhanced our quality of life by becoming part of
Well,
the mix.
I don't know if I've enhanced the community,
Yeah,
but
I think
the
you
community has
have.
been very kind and very nice to me, and it's a place that my kids grew up in, so they call it home, and we have to call it home too, and we love it here, so we wouldn't go anywhere else, Gordy.
So many stories connected with how and why people came here. Even Ed coming here on TDY from Pease Air Force Base. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
boy.
think a lot of traffic, a lot of people pass through Plattsburgh, and I think the culture of Plattsburgh has a very attractive appeal to people. You know that. I think we all know that.
Always called the best kept secret in the Air Force. Everybody wanted to come here, and that's why it was such a good base, and we all know the tragic story, how we lost it.
Oh, God. But in the 60s and 70s, we called it a sleeping giant. And I've watched the giant sit up, get up on his knees and his haunches and stand up and yawn. And you and I have talked about this for a long time. You're doing all these things that some dealerships are using this way into the future. You're doing it now because you can see that this area is about to explode.
Oh, absolutely.
You've said that for a few years, and it's no reason why you can't become a big part of that.
Absolutely. Well, it's time to be either, again, we use the phrase "quick or dead."
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
It's time for us to be quick, and we're going after it. Hey, I'd like to, Rob, come on over. I'd like to introduce our parts and service director. This is a North Country native, Northern Tier boy.
Gordy Little, Rob.
How you doing?
Calvin Castner
Rob
behind the
Grandel, how you
camera
doing?
over there.
How you doing, guys?
So
Not
what's
the most
latest?
photogenic person.
Oh, yeah, the tallest guy in the room.
Yeah, just like you. Just like Gordon, you guys have a face for radio, right?
Oh, I'm sure, or a post office wall, anyway.
Well, who was it that said to, when he finished every newscast, see you on the radio?
Yeah.
Hey, how about that? So what's going on with you here?
I'm the Parts and Service Director here at Bill McBride Chevrolet and Subaru.
Never had a question you couldn't answer.
Well, not
this morning
never
yet?
one that I couldn't research and get you an answer anyways.
You know,
Every day you learn.
it's so amazing when you're contacted, when you're connected with everything there is in the world. So you know where stuff is if you don't have it on your shelves.
I can usually get my hands on it or at least find a location where we can, yep.
Yeah, that's a big part of the operation too.
Yeah, we feel very fortunate. Rob came on board with us about 6 months ago, 7 months ago.
About 4 months ago, actually.
Okay. Rob was actually the Parts and Service Director at Riley Ford, and he came on board with us, and we are absolutely pleased to have him here. It's been he is he's a machine. He's customer focused, gets stuff done, and
You've got to have it. You've got to have it in your blood.
Oh, definitely.
There are only a limited number of people who can do what you guys do, but in this department of yours, and I've dealt with a lot of them over the years from here to the other end of the world, and you have to have it. It has to be part of your fabric.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's got to be in you. It's not an easy job for everybody to
And
learn.
the customer service is so important, isn't it, Brian?
Well, it's everything. Customer. Well, I mean, you got to ask yourself, what is customer service? And you know, people have needs and expectations, wants and desires, and everybody's a little different. And it's any business is challenged to have things in place to be able to meet or exceed those customers, that customer service experience. When you start to really roll up your sleeves and get your nose into it, it's a really difficult thing. And one of the things I've learned is that it starts with having the right people. It starts with having the right attitudes, the right processes, and the right vision. And people like Rob have that. And we have to survive. We have to provide. And I think any business does have to provide a world-class experience. We have to exceed what the customers are expecting, and the businesses that can do that are going to be the businesses that survive and thrive.
And if you don't, it doesn't take long for the word to get around.
That's for sure.
You're a North Country boy from
Yes,
the
I am.
Northern
I'm
Tier?
from West AZ originally.
Oh, there you go.
There.
Yeah. Beekman Town graduate.
That's right.
I hope.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless they lie to me. Yes, I am.
I love it. So you're ready for just about anything back here in your little niche, huh?
We're going to give it our best shot, that's for sure.
Great. It's
You know,
great,
Army
great
guy,
to
too.
meet you. So. Uh-oh.
We're Air Force, most of us here. We let them run,
Got to have a ground pounder once in a while.
Army, where were you?
I was in Germany. Schaffenburg, Germany for 3
Best
years.
duty in the world.
Yes, it was beautiful. Beautiful country.
Never had any of my own kids or anybody else's who were stationed in Germany that didn't love every minute of it. How about that?
It's great. It's a great experience. Working here is a great experience also. It's a pleasure to work for people that
love
appreciate you and give you 110%.
Isn't that great? That's good. Thumbs up again.
Yep. Great. Thanks, Rob. Very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, buddy
Thanks
boy.
again. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. All right, let's move along.
Well, Gordy, real quick, we took a section of the concrete floor out here and connected this trench drain to the trench drains in the service area, the shop area. And to update and be absolutely compliant, we put an oil water separator in the back of the building and stuff like that. So now, and out in the parking lot, I don't know if Brian told you about the asphalt that we have out there.
No, you're the man, Don.
Well, we have a big section of pervious pavement, so that water, instead of having a detention pond or retention pond where you have to have that fenced in to drain the water off your lot, what we did out here is about from up towards the front of the building all the way about to the back, we have about, I would say probably 100 foot wide by about maybe 300 feet or 350 feet long, this pervious pavement. We actually dug out about 5.5 feet, put rocks and stones and stuff, and this is an engineered thing. and then you put fabric in there, and the water in this particular hot mix of asphalt goes right down through like it's very porous. So instead of having area and property that you can't do anything, this water now goes down through the pervious pavement, gets filtered through the sand, so any impurities you have gets taken care of in the soil, and over years and years it takes care of it. Instead of going to a storm drain where those oils and solids are carried out into Lake Champlain and cause a problem for me and my salmon and trout.
Everything's connected down, you know that.
It is. But I mean, it costs a little extra money, but Brian and his brother and his family went the extra yard to do it the right way. And you think what you have now, instead of having a hole in the ground in the back here, we've got a nice parking area, they can display their vehicles and stuff. They've done it the right way. They really
In the
did.
21st century, you
Yes,
got to
we
think
are.
of things like that.
Yeah, and so this is all connected through down here. And, you know, some of us silver-haired people come in and you get out of your car on a day like today when it was icy and slippery, you come right in the building, you don't have to worry about any of that. You get out, it's warm, you go in the shop and they take care of it and they'll bring it right
There's
back
a lot
in
of
here.
thought to plan all this stuff, doesn't it?
Well, there's some thinking that has to go on, but it's not too difficult, and again,
Especially in retrospect. Now that
Yeah,
we're done.
it didn't hurt that much.
I love it. Don, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
You're a good friend.
I am.
Time moves flies, baby.
Gordy, I'll show you. We have two service advisors, Christina and Michelle, girls. They are very highly trained. Believe me, they know more about a vehicle's operation than half of my guys combined.
Isn't that amazing?
We put in a brand new digital board for all of our service menus are on there. There's information, news feed ticker, weather reports, YouTube videos. But Christina and Michelle really know their vehicles, and they know how to take care of you.
That's wonderful. All right, we're getting an education here today, and it's a very good one. Thanks so far.
Thanks, Gordy. Try not to get the pile of.
All right, we got the nuts and bolts out here. This is completely changed from what you had before.
Gordy, everything in the building's brand new,
Brand new.
including our service department. I have to apologize a little bit. We're in a state of chaos still. I have to explain that
Pretty calm for a guy in a state of chaos.
we we're just finishing up the construction, and one of the contractors was in this morning to finish, actually leaf floor coverings, was in to finish the baseboard around the walls. So we've had to pull everything out away from the walls, but normally we're very organized. The service department, again, the whole building was demolished, but we did it in sections. The first section was the sales and accounting offices. That whole end of the building we vacated and moved everybody over to our Subaru facility. The service writers and the technicians stayed in the back part of the building, which was still left standing. The contractor worked around our business and operations. So it was pretty neat. Conroy's did a very good job, and it was actually funny. Everything is all brand new. The walls are all brand new. The floor, the electrical, plumbing, the shop equipment, everything is
You were
is
working
brand
on
new.
cars
So
when
we're-
there was no wall there.
Oh, there's no, yeah, the Conroys would come in the morning, they would tear the wall down. The guys would be putting cars up and down on the left with absolutely no walls on their side of the building, and by the end of the day, they had a brand new wall built, and they just moved on to the next section and worked their way around the perimeter. So I can tell you from like an energy efficiency standpoint, it's a night and day difference. From comfort level for the technicians, it's night and day difference. You notice we put in some high bay windows and glass doors. The shop is much brighter. Yeah.
Rodney, could you get out of that, please?
It's amazing.
Well,
So you
thanks.
could work on quite a few cars at one
Yeah.
time in here.
We have 11 service bays and 6 technicians right now. But again, I'm looking to I'm looking to grow probably within the next 2 or 3 months. Add 3 to 5 more employees.
Come on, really?
Oh yeah, the business is there.
We got all those used cars coming in Friday morning.
Yes, we're gonna be busy.
We're doing this show on a Wednesday, and it's going to be hopping around here when that truck arrives.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We take a lot of time with our pre-owned vehicles. When the vehicle arrives, it goes immediately into our service department, and we have an extensive checklist that we go through on every vehicle, whether it has 3,000 miles on it or 150,000 miles. I don't want the customer, when they buy that pre-owned vehicle is new to the next person that buys it, and I want them to have a great experience. I don't want to see them back in the service department until I give everybody a complimentary oil change on the purchase, and that's the only time I want to see somebody back. I don't want them to come back with. So we spend a lot of time and a lot of money getting our vehicles right. I average around $1,200 of money spent in the service and parts department to recondition the vehicles mechanically. If they need brakes, they get brakes. If the brakes are marginal, they get brakes. If the tires are marginal at all, it gets tires. We want the right vehicles out on the road representing us, and again, we're going after that world-class experience for customers. It's not right if somebody buys a pre-owned vehicle and then a day later or 2 days later they find out that it's got some major mechanical flaws. So we just don't go there and get it taken care of.
You have a sterling reputation, and you are bound and determined to uphold it and enhance it.
Well, I can tell you that our intent is that. Sometimes cars are complicated things, and does something get out through our systems? Occasionally, but there's never a question after the fact. We take care of things. We take care of things right away, without hesitation.
That's great. Is there anything else you want to mention while we're out here?
No, we have a typical repair shop. All of our techs are fully factory trained. We have all the equipment necessary, the special tools to do everything from a simple lube oil and filter change to transmission or major engine overhaul, diesel work, everything from soup to nuts.
I love it. All right. We'll move on.
Very good, sir.
Just to let our viewers of our little corner know, we decided to test the waters, see what the economy was like in early January. As we start a brand new year in 2013, we decided to come and visit our friends at McBride Chevrolet and Subaru on U.S. Avenue in Plattsburgh. Brian McBride is kind enough to show us around the place and give us the official cook's tour today. And we like what we see so far. It's been a great education for me from the outside looking in, some of the inner workings of this dealership. We were over at Chevrolet, now we're next door at Subaru. That's where your main office is located.
Yes, it is. That's where I call home. I'm a 6 or 7 day a week person, so this is my home away from home. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys a few photos of the demolition and reconstruction of the facility. This was actually day number 2 inside of our showroom. Again, it was state of the art for 1962. There's historical 2x4s that were actually 2x4 when we took them out.
That's amazing all by itself.
Yeah. But again, the electrical, the plumbing, everything was 50 years old, and it was all time to go. We called in Bridge Street Auction to come and get our old furniture.
Oh, did you?
We auctioned everything off. So I said goodbye to all of the memorabilia, all the antique desks that had been there since the late 60s and early 70s. You can kind of see that the wiring was a rat's nest.
Oh boy.
just over time and over the years as our needs had changed and we had added things. It was just time for everything to go. It was interesting to watch everything evolve. The amount of memories that were made in that facility were all good ones, but everything has its time. Again, Conroy was our general contractor, and I want to say thank you very much again. They Will and Hunter and Ron and
Good people.
oh, very
Good, all
very
good
very
people.
good people. We had to. That was our parts department,
Wow.
and Ace Electric was the electrical contractor.
And you had to approve all this stuff before it got started.
Oh yeah, Here's Dave Dominy from Telephone Maintenance.
Oh, yeah, sure.
He's out of West Shazy. So
It's great to watch these pictures and try to imagine what it was like before and what it's like now. And I'm sure you invite a lot of your friends in here to take a look at your new facilities.
Oh, absolutely. We if anybody'd like to just come by and look around, you're more than welcome to.
There might even be a hot pot of coffee on.
Oh, we always have a hot pot of coffee on. Here's the City of Plattsburgh Water and Sewer Department.
Oh my.
We because the water line and the sewer line were 50 years old, we said, hey, we better replace those at the same time. They go underneath the building, and now's the best time to do it. So we brought in a brand new 2-inch line from the water.
Wonderful. And there are always rules and regulations that you have to follow, and everything's got to be code, right?
Oh, absolutely. We did. We took the opportunity. Of course, we had to, but we did it with we were happy to do it. Our new facility is fully up to code from the Americans with Disability ADA. We're fully ADA compliant. We are. Everything is we didn't cut any corners on our construction and on our amenities for everybody.
When Subaru first came in, your original idea, as I recall, was to have everything under one roof. It didn't work out that way.
No, it didn't. But in the end, it worked out better. That we split the two facilities in 2010. We started construction on the Subaru building in 2009. Again, Conroy's was our general contractor, and it was a cultural change. Probably that was the biggest thing within our organization because we'd never really thought of Chevrolet and Subaru as two separate franchises. It was just one sales department and one. And by splitting them, it really created some cultural differences that caught us all off guard. And it was for the better. I mean, it took a little adjusting, but now we're starting to see. I've learned the leadership and management methods to keep everybody on the same path, but let each building develop its own culture around the products and around the customers, so that we can be who the customer expects us to be.
Isn't that amazing? And you told me when we first walked into your office here that you're even separating the telephone systems, huh?
Everything's separated. Telephone data. We actually PrimeLink is our phone and data provider. They were great. They ran underground conduit fiber optic cabling to both facilities, and they're connecting the two via fiber optic cabling right now. We're doing a big upgrade of our data infrastructure, new top-of-the-line data switches and computer servers are also in the works right now.
How about the land footprint here? Has it always been the same, or have you added pieces of land to it over the years? Or how?
Well, over time, we've acquired adjacent properties, old homes that were really in need of demolition. They had past their usefulness, and we're very respectful of our neighbors. We're in a mixed environment, commercial and residential, so we're very careful about being good citizens. But yeah, we've acquired about 5 properties adjacent over the past 20 years, and that's allowed us to have a footprint large enough for us to be able to operate at the level that we are.
Do you need more? Do you think you're...
No, we can always use more. Yeah.
Who knows what's down the road?
Yeah. No, we can plan on some big things happening.
Well,
with
you
us.
know, I guess we all do. There's a dilemma when the economy is bad for everybody, and it hurts the little guy and the big guy. But as I said early in the program, you got to get up early and you have to make a plan to face this new tomorrow. As
Absolutely.
they say.
I understand things are hard. They're difficult for everybody, but for businesses there's opportunity everywhere. It's just a matter of how hard you want to work to go after it. And we have our sleeves rolled up, and we know that the level of competition is ratcheted up substantially as things get as the economy's gotten worse. Spending $1, it means a lot more today than it did 5 or 10 years ago for people, and those dollars have to count. And we are completely focused on giving great value for the customers. And that's our secret, but it's not a secret. It's something that any business should know, that that you have to constantly be trying to drive down your costs, drive down your prices, and your business goes up. That's no secret, but the trick is making it happen. And can I say that we're doing it? I know we're trying it right now very hard, and we're starting to see some very good results. It's just time will tell, and like I said, it's time to get it's time for us to get very aggressive and very customer focused, and that's what we're doing.
For many people watching this program who might not have ever visited Plattsburgh, New York, these dealerships next door to each other on U.S. Avenue are nestled right in the middle of what used to be the Plattsburgh Air Force Base. In the early days, your dad, and even you guys as young guys did work very, very hard to enhance your image with Air Base personnel, sold a lot of cars, and still have friends that talk about your dealership when they come back to visit Plattsburgh.
Oh, you're not kidding. I mean, during the 70s and 80s, this is just me talking and my parents' experience and the interaction with everybody, but the Air Base was really it was the biggest thing that they contributed to the community. It wasn't their payroll, it was the culture that they brought in.
Oh, sure.
And the people that they brought in. And there's a lot of really good people, a lot of people that are still here that came into Plattsburgh from other places, and now they're here making Plattsburgh their home.
And there were those of us who didn't think we could survive when the base closed.
Yeah.
And your dad and I cried a lot, along with a lot of other prominent people and little people on the street. But now look, as we're into the first month, nearing the end of the first month in 2013, guess what, folks? Plattsburgh is alive and well.
Oh yeah, I think there's just a few properties left that have been
Not
that
many.
aren't accounted for, and it was actually a blessing in disguise. It's unfortunate, and again, the cultural, the loss of all of those good people, and the ideas and the things that they brought to the North Country are, they're sorely missed. The friends that everybody has made, and then the friendships that were lost because of it. But in the end, you can't. we can't go back and change it, so we got to make the best of it. And
And
I
we
think
have.
the community leaders have absolutely done that.
We've made almost more than the best of it here, because we've seen bases closed in so many other locations. We visited some, and they languished.
Oh, absolutely.
And they died, and they became terrible areas where people just couldn't get any traction. But it didn't take long for the business people like your family and others that I know, and people all the way up the spectrum, even on the education spectrum, to say, hey, let's get moving again.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to the North Country culture.
Sure is.
You know, who we are up here. I mean, you know, everybody, you know, sometimes people have their differences, but I think that the thing that we get that a lot of other communities don't get is that we have a sense of community. We understand, you know, that what it means to need to come together, and you know, whether it's an ice storm or a base closing or a prison closing or a pharmaceutical plant closing, you know, we come together and we work to make the best of it. And like with the base, that happened, and I think, you know, from what I've gathered, the reuse plan and the reorganization of the facility is a case study role model for
It really is.
base closings around the world.
Everywhere, absolutely. It's great to be where we are now in 2013, to look back on it saying we not only survived, but we thrived. And I'd like to see the attitude of people whose job it is to preach the gospel about this North Country, that we're becoming more global than we were before. Rather than just Plattsburgh, we were Clinton County, then we were the Lake Champlain region, then we're the Adirondack region, and this whole area has worked together. I know you've had connections with dealers all over the North Country.
Absolutely. And I mean the you know, we are part of, you know, a global presence. You know, we you know, from our little dealership, we were selling auto parts on the internet back in 1996, 1997.
I remember well.
To you know, Japan,
Sure.
India. We continue to sell, have a thriving business online. But and like you just saw a little while ago, you know, we're attending auto auctions all around the country. You know, and we're spending, you know, we're investing our money, bringing product in from outside of the area in ways that, you know, really would have been impossible 20 years ago. To you know, I would have had to have flown to an auto auction in Denver and taken 4 days off from work, and then figured out how to get vehicles trucked in, and so that our customers can have a selection equal to what people can get outside of the area. And
Thank goodness you are in tune with all these internet connections. It's a huge portion of your life. You're excited about what can happen on the internet.
oh, the internet's a great tool. I don't claim to know anywhere near as much about it as Calvin. Calvin's got an amazing website, that, HometownCableNetwork.com.
Far too modest. Far too modest.
Calvin's blushing right now.
Far too modest. Plattsburgh.com is so well known to people all over the world now, and it just pleases me when I see all the hundreds and thousands of hits for stuff that we put on there over
Oh,
the
sure.
years.
Well, you're famous.
great.
You're a global
Yeah.
celebrity.
I'm big enough
Gordy.
to be global, I'll tell you that. My wife will remind me of that
See
every day
if
of the
you
week.
attend the Cannes Film Festival this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. In the can again. But you know what? It is. It's nice when you can know your place in all of this. And some people try to live in isolation. Some business people try to live in isolation. But people like you and others of your ilk realize that they have to fit into the bigger picture, and you're certainly working to do that.
I can't speak for other businesses, and I think everybody knows, you know, every business person, you know, they know what it is to have to make a payroll. They know what it is to have to get out of bed in the morning and go and open up, even if they don't feel like it. They know what it is to have to hire, and they know, you know, they know the joy of hiring somebody and making them happy, and they know the pain of having to let somebody go. And but from my perspective, from the auto industry perspective, the business is very difficult, and I think we're heading towards a point where the dealers and the repair centers that are going to have to make a very hard choice to either step up and become more competitive and be more engaged with the customer, having the right service hours, having the right staff and training and all of that stuff, or they're going to have to step out of the business. And I think that we're rapidly approaching that point. So, it kind of, for Billy and I, it wasn't a difficult choice, because really in the end, for us, the way that we see it is that you either have to get quick or get dead, and we decided to get quick. And,
You might have started an international phrase for the future.
No,
I
I
can
don't-
picture
I don't
people
know.
marching on the streets of New York with this mantra.
If we Googled it, I'm sure somebody else has
Oh, really?
got it copyrighted,
no.
but who knows? Who
We're
knows?
learning an awful lot today, and we hope to learn some more. Stay with us. All right, we're in the Subaru showroom. We're still talking with Brian McBride, enjoying this conversation. And as I said before, it's a liberal education for me to look at the nuts and bolts of the operation, and even the skeletons of what the walls looked like when they were being put together. It's just great. What do you want to tell us about this side of the operation?
Well, our Subaru facility is 2 years old. Again, this was a ground-up construction. We were fortunate to be able to start from scratch and do things exactly the way that we wanted, instead of a renovation of sorts. So we had brought in an architect from Subaru that specializes in designing auto dealerships, and we went around the property and came up with what we felt was the best design for us, and it actually has gotten us a lot of attaboys from Subaru and the top management, to the point where 3 or 4 other dealerships in the country
really?
have patterned their
Imitation is
facility.
the best form of flattery.
Yes, it is. So it's very functional and very comfortable, very homey. We succeeded in creating a feeling of a destination and a uniqueness. So we're very happy.
And once again, I want to underline the fact that you are going to focus a lot on our neighbors to the north in the future.
Yes, especially on the pre-owned sales. We've been doing quite a good export business with Subarus into Canada. Subaru is one of the only manufacturers that allow export sales, meaning a Canadian can come down, purchase a vehicle here, and then drive it back across the border into Canada. So we're respectful of the other dealers in the Montreal area. We don't actively solicit the business, but word of mouth in Canada has become very strong, to the point where about 20 to 25% of our business is with Canadians. And the thing that surprised us the most is we thought this would be a one-time visit and we would never see him again. But more than half of the Canadians that buy, especially the people in the South Shore, Montreal, Laval area, come back to us for service work, because just as the sale price of the vehicles, there's a substantial savings. The service side of things, there's a substantial savings also. And we've drawn customers as far away as Quebec City, Ottawa, 5 or 6 hours away from Toronto. We've had a couple of customers come to us to buy. So it's and it for them it's really neat, because it's kind of an adventure. It's an experience for them, and we try and play that up and make things as fun as we can for them.
We watch the Canadian dollar, the comparison with the Canadian dollar and American currency every day. I find myself looking at it.
Oh,
because that's part of the mentality going back well over 50 years for me, and there was quite a difference in.
And that's a it's a good lesson for us that there's a huge market just sitting sitting right across the border, less than actually this all the southern townships are less than an hour. I mean, 45 minutes to 30 minutes. Hemingford's right
there.
It's quicker to go to Hemingford than it is to go to Willsboro from Plattsburgh. And there's a huge market up there for us, and they consider Plattsburgh their a suburb, and for
Chamber
us.
of Commerce likes to call it that. I'll guarantee you that.
Gary, absolutely. He's been a master at developing the Canadian business.
That's because he's got vision.
Yeah. But there's a big business there for all of us in the Plattsburgh community. We just have to figure out how to capitalize on it.
I like a lot of things about you and your family, but especially I like the fact that you are a student who insists on knowing whatever there is to know every given day. You care so much about this North Country, about the people, the potential buyers of automobiles, new or used, and you care about marketing and service. And so you've gone almost beyond the call of duty in studying these things and hiring people who have watched this happen around the country, and that's been a good thing for you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. It's there's a lot of benefit. There's a lot of direct benefit to giving back to the community in any way you can. It's that what you give, you receive. And we're whatever the other adage is, when the level of the ocean rises, everybody's boat rises with it. So there's a lot of benefits to contribute and to keep an eye on things and be focused on what we're doing.
And one of the interesting things is over your shoulder and mine is a vision out the windows along U.S. Avenue of the former Plattsburgh Air Force Base, and it gives all of us a sense of history that goes back a couple hundred years, and here we are making history today, talking about the new enterprises that you're making right here on this side of U.S. Avenue or Route 9 South. And so it brings it all together in kind of a neat package, Brian. I really appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you very much. I don't know if I'll get written up in the history books. I kind of doubt that, but for our own personal history, it's a pretty significant moment.
You already have a footnote whether you need it or not.
Appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
It's really great. Are there any other facets of the business that you want to mention before we wrap it up today?
Other than we have our Subaru service facility. I have 4 top trained techs and my Subaru service people, Christina, Jessica and Casey are very strong people. They know the product, they know the customers, they know how to take care of your car, and when you compare us dollars and cents wise to any of the competing jobbers like Jiffy Lube or any of the oil change places, we actually are more price competitive than they are, and we provide a higher quality of service and materials that we use.
Who could have foreseen this development 30 years ago, 35 years ago, even 20 years ago?
I know. This is it's been kind of a roller coaster ride. I mean, it's exciting. It's everything changes continually. So but this is my brother Billy and I this is the business that we're in, and we're car people. We were born into the trade, and people ask me how long have you been in the car business, Brian? I say, since birth, and it's a lot of truth to it. I mean, we've been hanging around the dealership since we were 2 and 3 years old. So, but this is us. I think since 1970, I hope we can be considered part of the native community here. and
I think you're in whether you like it or not. They're here.
Yeah.
They're part of the fabric of this great North Country, and Calvin and I are proud to be a part of it, and hope that we can perpetuate all those good things you talked about, including that quality of life that we mentioned very early in the program today. Thanks again for the tour. We loved every minute of it.
Thank you very much, Gordy. Thank you, Calvin, very much.
We're glad to do it. We always thank our viewers for your suggestions and your comments. We hope you got a liberal education as we did as we toured these facilities on U.S. Avenue in Plattsburgh. We thank all the people we've met today. They'll go and tell their friends and relatives to watch it on the internet or on their local cable systems. We're proud to say that many of these programs, hundreds, and in Calvin's case, thousands of these programs are at Plattsburgh.com and HometownCableNetwork.com.
Absolutely.
Thanks to your wonderful genius.
Well,
Brian.
thank you. I want to just remind everybody, right now we're kind of in a transition point with Plattsburgh.com. All the latest videos are at HometownCableNetwork.com, and we're working very hard to actually bring all of Calvin's videos, house them in here at the dealership on our computer system. That we're doing a massive upgrade of our facilities here on the technology side, and we'll be streaming videos directly from here across PrimeLink internet and fiber optic internet out to the viewers worldwide, globally, from here at McBride's.
You know, I can remember when it was a dream and you suggested this germ of an idea, and I just stood there and I said, I don't understand any of this, but won't it be fantastic?
Yes.
Because our little corner, and before that Calvin's, all the things Calvin has done, and the late Bob Venn's, what's going on here, have been a part of the North Country fabric for a long time, since the early 80s. So it pleases me to be able to share some of these things that we cherish with folks in the rest of the world and on the local cable systems.
Well, I want to thank you and Calvin especially for the, right now this is an entertainment show. It's informative, but like I had spoken with Calvin, this is a historical documentary
Absolutely.
of 20, 30, 50, 100 years from now. This type of chronicalization of what's happening in the region is going to be absolutely
And
priceless.
when you look at the whole archive,
You'll still be around then, right?
oh yeah, we'll be here at least till we end this day anyway. And I also, that brings up a good point. It's hard to sustain something like Calvin has done since the early 1980s, because neither one of us have certainly gleaned a great deal of money, nor did we ever intend to get rich. But we did intend to share the richness of this North Country with our friends and relatives, business people around the North Country, and now our global friends, and that for me is more pleasing than anything else. But that brings up a good point. If you're watching this program and your checkbook is within the reach of your arm, or you're a local businessman and you'd like to be part of what Calvin and I have been doing for such a long time, please get your pencil in hand and write a generous check and send it to Calvin Castine at Hometown Cable on the Ridge Road in Champlain. You can even write our little corner down on the side of it if you want to, but we appreciate that because it helps to keep us doing and perpetuate stuff that we've been doing for a long time, and we hope to do far into the future. And who knows where we're going